Hello and welcome to Rathods IAS Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see very important articles that appeared in our today's newspaper. First of all, I'll let you know important topics of the day, and later on we are going to see each and every topic from prelims and as well as mains point of view. And at last, I'll be giving you prelims practice questions so that you can understand how a question can be given from that topic. Okay, now let us see the first topic. It is about India's rainfall deficit 35% as monsoon stalls. This article is talking about monsoon. This is part of your geography from GS paper 1. And next topic is government orders blocking of Telegram app till NEET re-examination. As you all know that NEET paper leak happened and there was cancel of exam of NEET, and again there is re-examination. Till the re-examination, government is blocking Telegram. Okay, here you have to see why government is blocking Telegram and which law gives the power to government to stop or to block this kind of social media apps. This topic is important from governance from GS paper 2. And next topic is cough syrup can't be sold without prescription, says government. Recently, if you go back to 4 to 5 months ago, in India, many children died because of contamination of cough syrup, especially in states of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. So because of this now, government came up with an order and government is saying strictly that without prescription, medical shops should not provide cough syrup as OTs, that is over the counter medication. And this topic is important from governance from GS paper 2. And next topic is world suffers from a shortage of trust. PM Modi tells G7 leaders. Actually, 58th G7 summit is going on. In that summit, our Prime Minister participated. And our Prime Minister made a statement. What is that statement is about? Lack of trust. Now there is lack of trust which is going on between the country. So here we have to see how and why our Prime Minister made this statement and what is the implication of this statement. And it is important from GS paper 2 under international relations. And next topic is IORA examining Canada's request to be observer. So IORA is one important organization and full form is Indian Ocean Rim Association. And actually it was formed near 1997 and now Canada filed an application that Canada wants to be an observer country as part of this IORA. So because of this, it is in news and you have to know about what is this IORA. On this in 2027, you can expect a prelims based question. And this topic is important from GS paper 2 under international relations. And most of our paper is covered by articles in our editorial page which is related to Iran, US peace deal. That's the thing that we discussed in yesterday's class. Again, we are going to revise that for today's class. So these all are the topics now we are going to discuss in this class. Okay, read out the title, guys. What it says, India's rainfall deficit 35% as monsoon stalls. What is the keyword? First one is rainfall deficit. Second one is stalling of monsoon. Okay, I'll tell you how UPSC can ask you a question on this. And monsoon is one of the favorite area of UPSC because our agriculture is mostly dependent on monsoon. If there is any heavy monsoon or if there is deficit monsoon, obviously it will be having impact on our agriculture. So here you have to know thoroughly about this monsoon. In your geography, especially in your Indian geography, you have this topic of climate. That is nothing but Indian climate. In that you will be studying about this monsoon. So here you have to know about what exactly the meaning of monsoon. Monsoon word derived from a word called as mausa. It means nothing but reversal of winds. So monsoon is nothing but the seasonal reversal of winds. And already we discussed about how this monsoon form everything, right? Okay, so you have to know about what is the mechanism of this monsoon and why this monsoon winds enters into India and how many branches we have and in which areas will get heavy rainfall and which areas will get like moderate rainfall, and you have to see what are the factors which affect monsoon. And next one here is why sometimes we will be having heavy rainfall, why sometimes we will be having less rainfall. There you have to see about this La Nina and El Nino concept. Okay, now just I'll give you a brief. You know, this is sun, for example, and earth will be revolving around sun in elliptical orbit, right? Okay, whenever earth is in this location, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, you know this northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, right? So if you take earth, we have 0° latitude, that is equator, and above this is called as northern hemisphere, and below this is called as southern hemisphere, and our earth has an axis or tilt of 22.5 degrees. So it will be moving that way. So if you apply that tilt here, so this will be our equator. So whenever earth is moving around the sun in these 4 locations, what happens here is from sun we will receive sunlight or radiation. In these 2 locations, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere will be receiving same amount of heat. So these 2 locations are called as equinox. Why? Northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere will receive more amount of sunlight. So if you see here, in this location, southern hemisphere will be receiving more sunlight. If you see in this, northern hemisphere will be receiving more sunlight. Okay, so here northern hemisphere will be experiencing summer season. So this location is called as summer solstice. And here southern hemisphere will be having summer and northern hemisphere will be having winter. So always will take name in the respective of northern hemisphere. So here we will call it as winter solstice. Okay, if you understand this concept, we'll move forward. Normally in the equinox time, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere will receive same amount of sunlight. So where we can see more amount of heat is received across this equator. So here we can see low pressure will be formed here. So this region is called as normally ITCZ, Intertropical Convergence Zone. So why it is called as Intertropical Convergence Zone? And again you have to understand one more phenomena. You have to draw major latitudes. Here we have 90 degrees north. Here we have 90 degrees south. 0 degrees. Here we have Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle. So these are the major latitudes that you know, right? So normally we will be having low pressure here and high pressure here. And we will be always talking about one concept. What is that? According to pressure gradient force, always winds move from high pressure region to low pressure. Now where this low pressure is there? Now low pressure is seen at equator. Okay, in equinox condition. Okay, so now what happens? The winds from this area will come here to occupy that low pressure, and from here it will come in this way, right? So here from southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere, the winds are meeting here, converging here. So because of that, it is called as intertropical convergence zone. This is tropical region, right? Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn will be tropical region. So from here winds are coming and meeting here, and here winds are coming and meeting here, and they are converging here. So that is called as intertropical convergence zone. So it happens in equinox condition normally. Normally at the equinox, this ITCZ will be there on which latitude? Tropic on this equator, that is 0 degrees, right? So here if you see this, here we have summer solstice. During the summer solstice, what happens? This IT season will be not there at the 0 degrees. It will move towards northern hemisphere. So now IT season is seen on Tropic of Cancer. Are you understanding? And what happens in this situation? Wherever this winter solstice, the same ITCZ will be not there at this 0 degrees. It will come towards south. So here in winter solstice, we can see the same ITCZ will be moving towards Tropic of Capricorn. So that is the normal phenomena. And now if you want to understand this concept of monsoon, you need to know the location of India. India's location is there in northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere. That means above equator or below equator? Above equator, right? Above equator, we can see India location. That means we'll say that India is in northern hemisphere. So what happens in this summer solstice is ITCZ will move towards what? Tropic of Cancer. So is Tropic of Cancer is passing through India? Yes. It passes through how many states of India? 8 or 9? 8 states, not 9 states. Okay. So here now ITCZ will be moving on this. That means where we can see the low pressure? Low pressure is seen on this Tropic of Cancer. Yes. So according to pressure gradient force, apply the same formula. What is that? From high pressure to low pressure, the winds will move. Okay. Here we have low pressure, and from equator, comparatively we have high pressure, and below this which latitude we have? Tropic of Capricorn. So it is also having high pressure. That means from here the winds will move in this way, right? Okay. Normally it will happen, right? But again we have to apply one more concept. What is that concept? Coriolis force. Have you heard about this Coriolis force? What happens here is it is not a static. It will move on its own axis. That is called as rotation. Because of rotation, what happens? The wind movement will not happen in the straight way. They will deflect. So if you see that deflection in northern hemisphere, winds will deflect towards right side. In southern hemisphere, winds deflect towards left side. And at this equator, Coriolis force is equal to 0. Okay. So here now these winds are crossing equator. That means now they will be turning towards right side. Okay. And this is now summer season. Air gets heated and water also gets heated. If water gets heated, it will convert into water vapor. So water vapor will be light. It will be moving with this warm air. And after reaching certain height, what happens? Condensation will happen, clouds will form. And this winds will be moving at a very faster rate. So whatever the clouds which are formed here on this Arabian Sea and in this Bay of Bengal, they will be carried on to India and they will cause rainfall. This is monsoon season actually. And this winds will hit this Kerala coast on which date normally? Yes, June 1st. On June 1st, this winds will hit this Kerala coast. But what happened this time? Did we got this monsoon winds on that same day? No, it had been delayed. On June 4th, these monsoon winds hit this Kerala coast this time. Okay, so this is the phenomena that you have to understand. And now read this article guys, what it is saying. India's rainfall deficit is 35% as monsoon stall. Now you know about what is this monsoon, right? So here we have two branches. One branch is Arabian Sea branch, one branch is Bay of Bengal branch. So here we have Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So this hit this Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and here we have what? Here we have Himachal, here we have Purvanchal. Especially northeastern part hills we have. So this winds will be hitting this northeastern part and they will be moving in this direction. And from here Arabian Sea branch will be going and they will meet near Delhi normally. Okay. So from here to here, what happened? Rainfall increases or decreases? I will draw map. Here we have Arabian Sea. Here we have Bay of Bengal. They will hit this Kerala coast on June 1st. And from here, this winds will be moving in this direction. This is Arabian Sea branch. And here Bay of Bengal branch will moving in this way. So in this way, they will create rainfall. So because of this region will be not getting rainfall, enough rainfall, and this region will be getting very heavy rainfall, especially western coast. And in the northeastern part, we also get like heavy rainfall. You know which place in India gets heavier rainfall in India? Cherrapunji and Meghalaya. Why Cherrapunji and Meghalaya gets more rainfall? Any idea? So here we have three hills, Garo Hills, Jaintia Hills and Kasi Hills in this way. Okay, the arrangement of the hills will be like in this way, in this Meghalaya region. So whenever winds are coming like this, hit this, it will hit this, it will hit this, again they will be having a funneling effect here. So because of this funneling effect, this region will receive heavier rainfall. And the rainfall will be like, do you know how much centimeters of rainfall, anyone? 7? So see here, so they will get the heaviest rainfall in our country. So this is the reason why Meghalaya and Cherrapunji will get more rainfall. It is called as funneling effect. You know this funnel, right? Funnel. It will be like this, which we will use to pour liquids. So in the same way, that kind of funneling effect will happen because of that location of three hills in this northeastern part, that will lead to heavier rainfall. So here we can say heavy rainfall in this western coast. And in this northeastern part also we can see heavy rainfall. Even in Andaman region also we can see heavy rainfall. But in this part, Central Asian, Central Indian part, and even here we have Aravalli Hills, right? And here we have Thar Desert. So whenever these winds are moving from south to north, they will already cause the rainfall here. The winds will become dry. So they will not cause much heavy rainfall in this northern part. Okay, in this southern part and in this northeastern part and in this Andaman and Nicobar, they cause heavy rainfall. So now this article is saying that India's rainfall deficit is 35% as monsoon stalls. So what happens is, whenever these winds move, sometimes there will be stall in rainfall. I think you might have observed in Hyderabad also we got rainfall 3 to 4 days ago. And after that, are we getting rainfall? No. There is stop of rainfall. That is the meaning of this monsoon stall. So monsoon rainfall stopped now in India and we are not getting rainfall as we expected. So if the rainfall is not happening as we expected, can we get heavy rainfall? For sure no. So because of this, now IMD is saying that there is a rainfall deficit of 35%. That means whatever the rainfall that we expected, there is low rainfall and there is deficit. You know meaning of deficit, right? Trade deficit, trade surplus. So here there is also a monsoon rainfall deficit of 35% in our country. So here you have to see what are the reasons. Okay, now you guys tell me when we can expect this formation of clouds and when we expect rainfall. Which pressure is required for formation of rainfall? Okay, I will tell you now basic concept. We will receive heat from sun. Whenever we are receiving heavy heat or more heat, land surface will be getting heated. Yes, air which is present on this land surface will be getting heated and water which is present there will be getting heated and they will become warm, right? So warm has a capacity, that is they will become light and they will try to move upward. So air got heated, it become warm and it is moving upside. Whenever this warm air is moving upside, it will also take water vapor along with it. And what happened after reaching certain height? the condensation will happen and it will form clouds. That means to form the clouds, we need low pressure for sure. If low pressure is formed, then only we can see formation of clouds. After formation of clouds, obviously what happens? Rainfall will happen. Okay, now this article title is saying that rainfall stopped. That means what? Low pressure is not there. Yes, low pressure is not there. Instead of low pressure, which pressure will be there? High pressure. That is one important factor, guys. Okay, now let us see what are the factors. What are the factors that led to this rainfall deficit? So here in this article, they gave data nationwide. Throughout our country, there is a deficit of 35%. And especially central India is going to be worst affected. Central part of India, especially Madhya Pradesh. You know that, right? Central India, it is nothing but Madhya Pradesh. So that region around this Madhya Pradesh will be getting affected. Around 63% of deficit of rainfall we can see in central India. And next one is East and Northeast India, 43% shortfall is there. And next one is Southern Peninsula region, that is southern part, 14% deficit. We are having less actually compared to other parts. And Northwest India, it is having 5% above normal. So these are the estimates given in this article. And now let us see what are the reasons. First one here is first monsoon pulse lost. We are losing the pulse of monsoon. That is nothing but we are losing the pulse of low pressure in on our country. So instead of low pressure, there is anticyclonic circulation. Anticyclonic circulation is nothing but there is creating of high pressure. Okay, you heard about the cyclones? Cyclone is nothing but cyclone Ditwa. Have you heard this? Cyclone is forming in Bay of Bengal or cyclone is forming in Arabian Sea, and because of this there is a threat of rainfall for 1 week. No idea. Are you following news at least? If you are following news, you will be knowing that. So because of formation of cyclones, in Telugu they'll call Alpa Pidanam form aindi. So we are going to have rainfall of like 3 to 4 days. Musurostadi, Tufan. Have you heard that? That is nothing but cyclone. So why it is formed here is in this Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea, whenever this low pressure will be formed, that will be creating this cyclones. Cyclones opposite is what? Anticyclones. Instead of low pressure, high pressure is formed. Okay. So actually in Arabian Sea area, we are finding anticyclone. Anticyclone is nothing but formation of high pressure region. Because of that, there is no formation of clouds. There will be no rainfall. So because of this, we are not going to get rainfall in this Maharashtra, Mumbai and forward north of this Mumbai region. That is the first reason given in this article. And this one is, this time we are expecting El Nino. Because of this, obviously it will be affecting our Indian rainfall. There is strengthening of El Nino conditions are happening. That is the second reason they said. And this one is lack of low pressure system or depressions over Bay of Bengal or like Arabian Sea. So we are having, instead of low pressure, we are having high pressure system. And even above our in our atmosphere, we will be having certain winds which will move at a very faster rate. They are called as jet streams. So even jet streams are not supporting this time for Indian monsoon. So these are the reason why we are going to get low rainfall or rainfall deficit. That is given in this article, guys. On this factors, you may get a 10-marker question in your UPSC mains. In UPSC mains, many a times they asked about monsoon. In monsoon, they asked about what is a monsoon and explain the formation of monsoon. There you have to write about ITCZ, again winter solstice, summer solstice, all those diagrams. And they may ask about onset of monsoon, progression of monsoon, how this onset happens and how this monsoon progression happens. And they may ask about what are the factors responsible for formation of monsoon. There are 4 to 5 factors that will be dealt in your geography class clearly, and sir will be giving you the notes also. And from economy point of view, they will be asking you by linking geography plus economy. So in this 2026 year, there is super El Nino. Because of the super El Nino, what will be the impact on Indian economy? So like that, they may connect geography with economy and they may ask question GS paper 3. Okay, now you guys tell me, this article is saying that we are going to get less rainfall and we are having around 35% of deficit overall. So what will be the impact of this low rainfall? Do we have any impact? What is the impact? First one here is, if rainfall is not happening at a expected pace, can we go for sowing? And if you see the different seasons of sowing, we have 3 seasons: Kharif season, Rabi and Ziyad. Kharif is nothing but during monsoon time they'll go for sowing. Rabi is nothing but winter, and Ziyad is nothing but between this Kharif and Rabi we'll be having just 1.5 to 2 months of time. At that time, farmers will go for growing of vegetables and as well as seasonal fruits like watermelons, cucumbers, etc., muskmelons, etc. So here what happens, because of this monsoon deficit, we cannot go for Kharif cropping. Kharif season will be getting delayed. And what about agriculture productivity? Can we expect good agriculture productivity? For sure, no, because most of our agriculture is rain-fed agriculture. We are depending on rainfall. If there is no rainfall, can we expect food? No, for sure. So first one here is delayed agriculture sowings. And what happens if we are not producing more? Can we enhance the supply of food grains in the market? If supply is less, obviously the price is more. That will in turn leads to food inflation. If food inflation is happening, that will leads to retail inflation, that we know. Yes. And next one is, what about the income of farmers? Increase or decreases? Decrease income. Then what about suicides of farmers, especially in the central India part? May increase. Yes. And what about the crop failures? Increases. If crop failure increases, government has one scheme called as Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Bima is nothing but insurance. Government is providing insurance for crop failure. What about the expenditure of government? Again increases. And what about food security? Can government provide proper food for the people? No. And again, malnutrition, poverty, hunger will increase. And what about the water levels in our reservoirs? Obviously reduced. If water level is reduced, what about aquatic biodiversity which is present there? About again fishing communities will be affected. So in that way you have to connect every point and you have to write in multi-dimensional way. Clear? Understood? Okay, see this next article guys. Government orders blocking of Telegram app till NEET re-examination. What does it mean? What happened recently related to NEET examination? Okay, paper leak and finally cancelling of examination also had been done, cancelled exam. And now again government is planning to conduct re-exam for this NEET. Okay, tell me, NEET exam is written by whom? By UPSC students who want to pursue MBBS, right? Okay, you know that, right? NEET exam for MBBS, and after intermediate they will be writing this NEET exam. And paper leak happened, and finally they are conducting the re-examination. And at that time, after once paper leak happened, that leaked paper had been circulated in this Telegram channels. So because of this, still that exam is conducted, government is banning this Telegram. And even now we have to search one alternative to post in the PDF. Everyone is having this problem now, because Telegram channel through which the doubt clearing sessions will happen, and also the sharing of PDF, sharing of content, different groups, different channels. Right now, it is a big problem for everyone because of this ban of Telegram till this exam is conducted. Okay, now here you have to think about which act or which law in our country is providing the power to the government to block this kind of social media platforms. On this, UPSC can ask you a mains based question. How UPSC can give you a question? in the light of recent NEET paper leak, government banned social media platform to stop the circulation or to prevent this kind of leakage once again. Which law talks about it, discuss about the features of this law and what are the challenges. Like that, UPSC can ask you a question on law or act which is giving power to the government to block this kind of social media platforms. This is the first time government did this. For Telegram, it is first time, but government will be going for suspension of internet many a times. If there is any conflict, for sure they will stop internet. Why? Because by using this internet, there will be spread of misinformation, fake videos, fake information, fake photographs, everything. If the fake information is circulating in the social media platforms, what happens? It will increase anger, it will increase anxiety, it will increase law and order problems, and it may also a threat to our security of our country. So for that reason, government can ban the social media platforms, and even government can go for shutdown of internet. Okay, there is one act called as Information Technology Act of 2000. You have to know about that related to this article. Is clear? Okay, till 22nd June, there will be ban of Telegram. Okay, so why government blocked Telegram? The first one here is cheating rackets. They are using these Telegram channels and they are trying to sell leaked papers and they are demanding money from the students or parents, and they are also using these Telegram channels for spreading of misinformation. So because of this, they are banning this Telegram now. And next one here is they are also misusing this message editing feature. So whenever we posted any message, and again we have a feature of edit option, no? So by editing also, what are the posts they made earlier, they can re-edit now and they can circulate misinformation. That is also one option, right? So they want to ensure that no one is using this edit feature so that they cannot share any misinformation. And next one here is they are also targeting this organized fraud, and ahead of re-examination, again this kind of fraudsters can share other papers or other content so that can create anxiety in the students before examination. So to control all these things, yes, finally government banned this Telegram till examination is conducted. Okay, and here you have to know about the law. Please make a note, guys. Information Technology Act, that is IT Act of 2000, and in that one section is section 69A. You have to remember this. In your governance also you'll come across this section. Okay, so after once polity is done, sir will be starting governance. In that governance, sir will be telling detail about this act, guys. Information Technology Act. There is one Supreme Court judge called as Shreya Singhal case. Sir will be explaining all this in detail. And even whenever they are talking, even in your fundamental rights topic also, you'll see about that same case, Shreya Singhal case. Okay, so there you will come across all these acts, what are the problems of this act in detail. So whenever sir discuss that, so keep star mark. Okay, remember this and keep this in your mind. So this article is talking about indirectly Information Technology Act of 2000. In that we have one section called as section 69A. So this law which is giving power for central government to issue directions to block public access to any information, shutdown of internet and even blocking of social media apps. The power is given to the central government by this IT Act of 2000. On the grounds, you have to remember these grounds. There are 4 grounds. First one is sovereignty and integrity of India. To protect sovereignty and integrity of India, government can block. And for defense and security of the states, and to maintain friendly relations with foreign states. And next one here is to maintain public order and to prevent incitable to cognizable offences. If they want to prevent any offences also, they can block this. And in this present case, based on this public order, they are blocking this Telegram. Okay, on the grounds which is cited here is public order and to prevent organized fraud or cheating. So if this cheating happens, means obviously some lakhs of students will be getting affected. So do you know how many students they will applying and writing the examination of this NEET? More than 20 lakhs. More than 20 lakhs every year they will be writing this examination. So if there is any this kind of fraud or cheating happens on this platform, obviously it will be affecting the lakhs of students. So because of this, they came up with this block of telling them. And even there are other articles also there in our paper. One article is saying that even Air Force is now circulating this papers. They are not giving, they are not like state governments are not involving in this transportation purpose of these papers. Directly Air Force is using helicopters to dispense these papers to different states. So that way this time they are ensuring that tight security and they are ensuring that no leak of this paper will happen from now onwards. Now you guys tell me what is the impact. Is that good or bad? Everything has two faces. We have positive face and we have negative face of a coin. Now tell me guys, what are the positives of this move? We can ensure security. We can try to prevent the fraud. Next. Then what are the negatives? Not only this, students who are writing this NEET or using this Telegram, different sections of society are using this. Is that affecting their right or freedom to use this apps? Yes, next. And we will be normally sharing this PDF or questions or anything in this Telegram only. Now students will not have access to this kind of content which is available on this platform. Yes. So the impacts. Okay, see here, millions of legitimate users will be getting affected. Especially students can lose the study groups now, and as well as doubt clearing, shared resources, everything they will lose for this period of time. And next one here is, if government blocked this Telegram, so there are also other apps that can be used by these fraudsters. So is government is blocking all the social media platforms? No. So here there is also one challenge here is they may use, if they want to do fraud, they can use any means. No, why they use only Telegram? So it is also one question posed by opposition. And next one here is, it will protect fairness for over 22 lakh candidates appearing in re-examination. That means obviously it will provide security, and government is trying to prevent fraud. Government is trying to ensure fairness of examination who are writing this NEET exam. Okay, so these are the impacts. And say this guys, cough syrup cannot be sold without prescription, says government. Okay, now I want to ask you a question guys. Have you seen cough syrup? Have you seen the contents of this cough syrup? Anyone? Contents. How this cough syrup is made? Any idea? No? Okay, I want to tell you two concepts here. Have you heard this word solution suspension? Solution suspension. What is the difference between solution and suspension? Solution means if you are mixing anything, it will be completely dissolved in it. For example, if you are mixing salt in water, can you see salt particles? It is completely mixing. That is called as solution. If you are mixing sand with water, will sand dissolve in water? You can see sand particles. That is called as suspension. Okay. The common thing here is we are adding something in a medium. One medium is completely dissolving it, one medium is not dissolving it. Even if you see the paracetamol, for small kids they will give paracetamol syrup. No, it is not syrup, it is suspension, because paracetamol will not be mixed in water. It will be like suspending. So have you seen any disclaimer on this syrup bottles like shake well before use? Why they will ask shake well before use? Is it given for every syrup bottle? It will not given for every syrup bottle. If it is a solution, already it is mixed clearly. So for syrups, there will be no disclaimer that shake well before use. But only for suspension, what happens? So what are the particles out there? They will not dissolve. So they will be settling at the bottom. So for that kind of solutions only, for that kind of syrups only, they will ask you to shake well before use, so that the suspending particles will be again redistributed in that water. Okay, in the same way here, cough syrup is made by using different components. We will be using, how many types of cough we have? Dry cough, wet cough. You know this, right? What is dry cough? Whenever you are coughing, you will not get any sputum. That is called as dry cough. And next one is wet cough. Wet cough is whenever you are coughing, you will get some white color or light brownish color sputum and you will spit off, right? So which is dangerous? Dry or wet? At least you have to know that basic things, guys. Dry cough is dangerous compared to that of wet cough, because in wet cough, whatever the infection you are getting, that sputum you are spitting out, but in dry cough it is not. And it is difficult to diagnose what exactly the reason behind the dry cough. So to treat this dry cough, we have separate medication. For wet cough, we have separate medication. You should not take same for both cough. At least you have to know which cough you are having. Okay, so here in this cough syrup, we will use different components, different materials to make this syrup. The problem here is we are not storing at a proper temperature. For example, if you take any syrup bottle, they'll say that don't keep in sunlight and you have to maintain so and so temperature, at room temperature, keep in shade. Do we follow all those things? If you are educated, if you know everything, you will be maintaining that. What if you are from rural areas, if you're not having basic necessities in your home, we will not maintain that. So if the sunlight is falling and if you are not maintaining proper conditions, what happens? Whatever the components we will mix to make the syrup, the reactions can happen inside that syrup bottle. Because of that, what happened? Contamination of syrup will happen in that bottle itself. If you're not maintaining proper sunlight, if you're not maintaining proper temperature to store that like that. In the same way, in the cough syrups also, contamination can happen. The main contaminant in this cough syrup is diethylene glycol. Okay. So contamination can happen two types. First one is while making the syrup itself. Sometimes pharmaceutical companies can add this diethylene glycol to make that solubles to be soluble in that water. And second here is if you are not maintaining conditions, storage conditions, reactions can happen inside that syrup and diethylene glycol may be formed. Okay, so these are the two ways. Recently what happened in Rajasthan is manufacturing company itself used this diethylene glycol because it is cheaply available. And if you are mixing that, the cost of production of that syrup will be decreased and the profits will be maximized. So here they made substandard cough syrup and they transported and they distributed throughout India. And what happened? In Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, more than 200 children died. More than 200 children. So it is not for the first time it happened in India. Even India exports this kind of drugs and medicines to other countries also, because India is a pharmaceutical hub of the world. And in Africa also, more than 300 to 400 children died in last 2 years after consuming this contaminated cough syrup. So because of this, now government is taking effective steps to control this deaths because of cough syrup. And now government said that without prescription, you know this prescription, right? If you go to doctor, they will give one slip that is called as prescription. So with this prescription only, now this this medical shops, they have to dispense this or they have to give this medicine. Okay. In the medicines also we have different types of medicines. Okay, have you seen any tablet sheet? On that tablet sheet, sometimes you can see Schedule H under red color rectangular box. Have you seen that? What is the meaning of that? No idea. No. You will take medicine, you'll go to medical shop, ennandu mingutar, but you don't know what is that. Okay, so if there is any tablet sheet which is showing this red color warning, and on that it will be written like schedule H, means they have to given only with prescription. Without prescription, they should not give that. Okay, so that is the meaning of that red color rectangle box on which it is written as schedule H. But without prescription also, whatever the pharmacies which we have around us, will they give the medicine or not? Rather than going to doctor, what we'll do? We'll go to medical shop and we'll get the medicines and we'll take. Actually, it is happening only in India, but in other countries, they will not give even a single tablet without prescription. Yes, because they are chemicals. They are not at all good for your health. They are not like fruits or popcorn that we can make in our home and we'll consume. They are like chemicals which are the combination of different drugs. So they are not at all good. So here in India it is going on, but it is not the practice we can see outside our country. So actually now what is happening here is uh, we have two types of drugs. One is prescribed drugs, one is OTC drugs. OTC drugs is nothing but over the counter. That means you can go to any pharmacy and if you tell about your symptoms, they will be giving you the drug. They are OTC drugs. And usually you can get this cough syrups as OTC drugs in our country. So because of this, there is increased deaths. So now government directly said that only if patients will bring the prescription, then only they have to give these drugs. So here you have to know about what changes government did in which law to add this provision. You have to know that. Okay, so here recently Ministry of Health and Family Welfare noted the change to drugs rules. We have one act in our country called as Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940. So this act will provide in detail about which drugs are there in our country and which scheduled drugs are there. So who has to get license to give the drugs or make the drugs, everything. So now government made some changes to this Drugs and Cosmetics Act, and it said that only through prescription this pharmaceutical companies or like this pharmacies or like medical shops, they have to give this medicine. That is the thing which mainly said here, guys. Okay, now let us see about this diethylene glycol, and I think you may get a question on diethylene glycol in prelims, not in mains. So diethylene glycol is a colorless, sweet tasting industrial chemical. Normally this chemical is used for brake fluids. You know these brakes in vehicles, cars. So for that operation of brakes, they will use this fluid. Now you can imagine if they are mixed in this cough syrup, small kids, cough syrup is given to the children who are below like 4 to 5 years, below 4 to 5 years. So if they consume it, is that good? It is an industrial solvent. So what happens here is if they use this, they will cause abdominal pain in the children, vomiting, kidney failure, nervous system damage. Obviously, it will lead to death in the children because of this chemical. Why they are using this chemical? Because it is a cheap substitute solvent in drug production. Because it is cheap, they are using this to maximize their profit. Is this ethical? It is not at all ethical. Just for increasing their profits, loss of children life is not right now. Okay, now let us see about what is this act, that is Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940. So this act, which regulates imports, manufacture, sale and distribution of drugs and cosmetics, and this act will provide licenses to the people to produce the drugs and to sell these medicines. And the main aim of this act, it is to market both drugs and cosmetics which are safe, effective, and they have to meet the national standards. Okay, that's it, guys. And it also gives the guidelines for the storage, sale, presentation and prescription, etc. And they made change in this prescription and they added this cough syrup also in that. Okay, see this next article, guys. World suffers from a shortage of trust. Prime Minister Modi tells G7 leaders. What is the keyword? G7. In your international relations subject, you will come across lots of organizations. We have G4, G7, G8, G20. Okay, regarding this, G means nothing but group. G4, group of 4, G7, group of 7, G8, group of 8, G20, group of 20. And apart from that, we have other organizations like SCO, we have RCEP, and in today's class, we are also going to discuss about IORA. So like that, we have multiple organizations. So you have to know what is that organization is about, when it was formed, and what are the aims and objectives of that, whether India is member of that or not. Okay. So if you see about this group of 7 or G7 countries, India is not part of that. But India is invited to be the part of this 58th summit. So this year 58th summit is going on in France. In that summit, our Prime Minister was invited, and our Prime Minister took part in this meet, and he made a statement that across the world there is no trust. There is trust deficit. Okay, so that is the thing. And here you have to know the basics of this G7. On this, UPSC can ask you a question. If there is any grouping in news, they may ask you question. In 2025 paper, there were 2 questions on groupings. One is on BRICS, another is on BIMSTIC. This time you may get for sure question on IORA. Okay, I'll tell you why you may get question on IORA and what you have to remember. So now let us see this article first. Our Prime Minister participated in a session of group of 7 countries, and now 58th summit is going on in France. And apart from these G7 countries, there are also other countries participated in this meet. They are Brazil, Egypt, Kenya and South Korea. Okay, now let us see about this G7. G7 is an international forum that brings together world's most advanced industrialized countries. So G7 is nothing but group of 7 most advanced and industrialized countries in the world. Is India developed and advanced country? No, because of that India is not part of G7. It's a simple logic. And actually it is a critical platform for high level political and economic coordination. And they'll talk about what are the international challenges which are there, because they are advanced and they are like richest countries and most developed countries in the world. If you see members, please make a note. Members are Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK and US. Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, France, Canada, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK and US. So these are the members of this G7. And what are the functions here? They will focus on global finance predictability. Like if there is any COVID-19 pandemic, or if there is any Russia-Ukraine war, if there is any war in West Asia, so they'll see about how it will be impacting this global finance. And next one is they will be also talking about geopolitical crisis and how we have to resolve that kind of crisis. For example, international conflicts which is going on in West Asia right now. And next one is maritime security, peace, how we have to establish. They will be talking about this. And next one is they will also set up global technological standards. For example, as you all know, now we are moving towards this AI, machine learning. So what are the principles that countries need to follow while using this AI? So they will be talking and they will set up this international standards. And they will also come up with declaration. And they will say that every country has to participate this is binding. So like that they will come up with some rules and regulations. So these are the functions of this G7. And see this next article guys, IORA examining Canada's request to be observer. Okay, so IORA full form is Indian Ocean Rim Association. Please make a note, Indian Ocean Rim Association. and keep star mark. This time in 2027 for sure you may get a question on this. Indian Ocean Rim Association. Okay, so what you have to focus related to this groupings. So if any member, if they are exiting from that group, recently OPEC is in news. Which country came out of that OPEC? UAE, right? That means OPEC is important. If there is any country is adding as a new member, then you have to know about it. Or if there is any country which mainly said that please I want to become observer nation, please add me. So if there is any update related to membership of that grouping, UPSC will ask you a question on it. Last time in 2025, UPSC asked question on BRICS because of updation of members of BRICS. Okay, so this time Canada gave an application. It said that I want to be the member of IORA as an observer nation. So now the meeting is going on and they are considering and they are checking whether can we give this observer status for this Canada or not. Okay, so here what is the full form? Indian Ocean Rim Association. What is the meaning of rim? Have you heard about this rim of a cycle beam or anything? Rim. Winner, have you heard this rim? Where is this Indian Ocean located? Is India is only sharing boundary with Indian Ocean? Here different countries. Here different countries, right? So actually in 1997, the countries which are sharing boundary with this Indian Ocean region, they came together and they formed this organization called as Indian Ocean Rim Association. It is called as IORA. And later on this membership extended to different countries also. Why they came up with this Indian Ocean Rim Association? Indian Ocean is having huge amount of resources. And especially most of the trade will be happens through this area, especially related to Africa and this South and as well as Southeast Asian regions, right? So because of this, ensuring of safety and security is important or not? And who will take responsibility for taking of safety and security in this region? Obviously, the countries which are sharing boundary with this, right? That is the reason they came up with this IORA in year 1997. And now, not only the countries which are sharing boundary with this Indian Ocean, but even other countries are also want to participate as part of this IORA. Why? What is the reason? Earlier, the power was towards the west. Now, the power shifting is happened towards Indo-Pacific region. So, because of this, obviously, different countries want to have their foot in this Indian Ocean region. So, because of this, now Canada, which is a developed country, which is part of G7, also wants to be the part of observer country. It would Canada do not want to miss this opportunity to be the part of this Indian Ocean region. So that is the reason why Canada gave application regarding this observer nation of IORA. Clear? So how UPSC can give a question? Consider the following statements regarding IORA and it may give you 3 to 4 statements and it may ask you about identify like correct or incorrect statements. So if you see about this IORA, as I said, it established near 1997 and it is intergovernmental organization. That means different countries' governments are part of this organization. Then only it is called as intergovernmental organization. And it contains the countries which are sharing the boundary with Indian Ocean region. What are the objectives here? They want to ensure sustainable growth and balanced development in this Indian Ocean region. And next one is they want to enhance economic cooperation and they want to provide maximum opportunities for development in this Indian Ocean region. And they want to promote liberalization. Then they want to enhance the safety and security related to trade. So these are the main objectives of this IORA. And it has members from different continents. We have members from Africa. Africa is sharing boundary with Indian Ocean. And we have West Asian part. And we have South Asia and Southeast Asia. And even Europe and Oceania also have membership in this IORA. And you have to remember, currently there are 23 member states and 12 dialogue partners in this IORA, guys. That's it. And what are the priority areas of this IORA? They are focusing on trade and investment. They are focusing on improving of maritime security and as well as fisheries management, disaster risk management, and blue economy. So these are the major aims and objectives of this IORA. Okay, so this is yesterday's topic only. It is about, mostly there are 3 to 4 articles related to this peace accord only of in Iran and US. In yesterday's class, we discussed about what are the provisions. Tell me, what are the provisions of this deal? Immediately, they have to suspend all the military related attacks. Open Strait of Hormuz. Toll-free movement of ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And next one is, it is for how many days? 60 days. The same thing which is given here, nothing more than that. And here, in our yesterday's class, we discussed about what is the impact on India, right? What is the impact on India? There will be the decreasing of oil price, international oil price. And what happened? Import bill of India will be reduced. And the price of diesel and petrol will be reduced. And there will be decreased inflation in our country. Yes. And even we can save our foreign currency. Okay, and we can restore the access to this Iranian crude oil now. So what are the ships which are carrying this oil will be not attacked by this US now anymore. So like that, we have lots of advantages of this peace treaty. Okay, see these questions, guys. First one is, consider the following statements regarding IORA. First statement is, it was established in year 1997. Second one is, its secretariat located in Mauritius. All member countries of IORA border Indian Ocean region. And India is founding member of IORA. For sure, India is founding member. We can eliminate one option. All these members are sharing boundary? No. You can eliminate this 3. Answer is 1, 2 and 4. Try to do in that way. By seeing options, eliminate the statements. See this, guys. Next one. Consider the following countries. They gave 5 countries. Which of the above are the members of G7? In the same way, I'll tell you. In the same way, if you see PYQ, they asked about NATO members in 2025. They gave in this way 5 to 6 countries, and they asked which of the above countries are part of NATO. Which of the above countries share boundary with Mediterranean Sea? Which of the above countries share boundary with Black Sea? So like that, in this format only, you will get questions related to countries, related to members, or country sharing border with so-and-so country or so-and-so sea, like that. So you have to see in this pattern. So now see, guys, they gave 5 countries. Option A, how? Australia not there. Okay, so answer is A. That's all, guys. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any doubts, please do comment in the comment box, guys. And if you like this class, please hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. And if you have not been subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe, guys. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.